Hey Tumblr, it's St. Paddy Day, so you know what that means. That's right, I'm going to talk about comics, which has nothing to do with St. Paddy Days, and you had no idea what that meant. But I'm going to do it anyway. Recently, I have filled my comic box. Oh my god, I'm going to die. It is now full in this. I had to make sure, just in case people couldn't look in a box, see what was in it. So yeah, it's probably, actually it's not full yet. I would say there's room for maybe 10 more comics. Which isn't much, Tumblr. Which isn't much. So, I thought that oh my god, go through my comic collection with you and talk about that, because I love comics. What I got is Solomon Grundy. It was oh yeah, it's a 7-part series. It's pretty okay. I've only got 3 in. I don't even think I've finished this one properly. I've read it on the train. Yeah, it's just like it's him versus people in each one. So well, the first one's just the origin of the tale. It's him versus Bizarro, Poison Ivy, Green Lantern, Amazo Grundy, Frankenstein at some stage, Black Lantern. Yeah, I mean it's all right. I mean it's not entirely gripping. At least I haven't found it gripping. Sam and Twitch, which I have been loving. I've only read 3 issues. A fantastic read. I would say that you should, even if you do it on the sly, on the internet, reading it on your computer, I would suggest that it only ran for about 26 issues before it got cancelled, unfortunately. I would say that one of the coolest things I found about my find on Sam and Twitch is that it's so old, but it's in such good condition. I mean, yeah, like here, they're advertising the first Scream film on the back of one of the comics, and it is in as good, if not better, quality than some of the comics I've bought like a couple of weeks ago that were released a couple of weeks ago. I mean, there's some of the comics I'm going to be showing you here that are like younger than this, and already the pages are yellow, but that's because they're second hand. But I'd have to presume that these are second hand because they got cancelled. I mean, has Forbidden Planet just been holding on to them? Uncanny X-Men. Now, this is a series that's been running since the 60s, so obviously I've not read them off. I started reading Uncanny X-Men. Issue 496 would have been in 2008, possibly. It's like, for instance, the most recent one I have is 529. You should read the Messiah Complex, then you should read Cable. Lots of Cable issues there. And then you should read the Uncanny X-Men, and then you should read the Second Coming, and then it's all like if you don't read Messiah, actually no, you kind of need to read Messiah Complex. Read Messiah Complex, Cable. You don't really need to read Uncanny X-Men in between Cable and Second Coming, but then you can read Second Coming, and then you'll be like, whoa, yeah, it's amazing. We've got this, and I would like to say that this is awful, and I'd like my money back. X-Men Curse of the Mutants. It's basically X-Men versus vampires, and I do not appreciate the mixing of genres. I thought it was actually going to be pretty cool. Turned out it wasn't. It was awful. I hated it. It's not often I have so much hate for this as well. I love Firefly, and I love Serenity, and I thought this is going to be good. It was awful, and I'm glad I only got 1 issue. These are just random Deadpool. I mean, they're good, but I haven't had any like proper full Deadpool. So there's this. These are X-Men Adventures. It was £1 for each of these, and I think there's about 5 comics in each thing. Now, if you look at the artwork, anyone who is familiar with the X-Men cartoon will recognize this artwork and think, oh cool, like a comic that continued on from the cartoon story. I'm interested in that. It's just like it's a page, panel for panel copy of the show. So it was very boring. I've read like 2 of them. Let's see, there's these. Now these are General Grievous comics. They actually came with toys of General Grievous. Now, they're by Dark Star, and Dark Star are lovely. Alright, we have these now. my brother, we had like if anyone reads The Walking Dead, which they should, it's the volumes that are like, I think it's at 13 now, so it's like, they're not thin, but they're not like the big books. We had the first 3 of them, and we were in Forbidden Planet, and my brother bought these, and he read them, and he didn't realise that these were like way off in the story in like issue 6 or 7 or something, and so he ruined a whole load of story for himself, and I didn't, because I was good and didn't read it before him, and so he ended up pretty pissed off that I can't even like tell you what he found out, because then I'd be spoiling it for you as well. This is a series. I worked in a train station, and when I worked out, there was a bookshop like right next door, and I went in there one day just on my break and found out that they had a load of comics that someone had brought in. Like, I'm talking about like 3 of these boxes just filled with comics, and they're selling them for like £1.50p at a time. And there was a Wolverine series. Now, Wolverine's been my favourite, I mean, since I was a little kid. He's just, I don't know what it is. I mean, Wolverine's always someone's favourite from whenever you were a kid. It's just something about his, like, badass attitude and stuff. But yeah, this is a pretty cool one. He's got bone claws in this. I think this story was that Magneto had drained him of his adamantium, and he's survived somehow. I thought that this would be pretty cool, and it turns out it bored me a lot. And the thing is, I actually paid full price for them as well, and I felt kind of annoyed that I'd bought them, and they were actually pretty shit. Oh, this is from that bookshop. I'm kind of annoyed because I only have the one, and it says book 1 on the back. It's this fantastic DC comic called Justice. I'll show you some of the artwork. Now, first thing that's noticeable, other than other comics, is that it's like kind of got a cardboard outline, and the paper's a lot more different as well. Can you see that? It is kind of weird. It's kind of like a photo of someone, and then like just outlines of the head, not the face or anything, just the head and the bodies and stuff, like an outline of a tie and a thing. I'm gonna have to look into finding that somewhere else. I just realised I've actually a load of comics at the back of this box that I've never read. Again, these would have been £1. There's about 4 comics in each of these. Let's see what is in this. Oh yeah, the Remnant. This looks cool, but I presumed, because it's the Remnant here and the Remnant here, and that this is 2 of 4 and this is 3 of 4, and that it looked like there was 4 comics in it, and there is 4 comics, that 1 and 4 would be in here also. No. So you don't get the start and you don't get the finish, you just are thrown in the middle. It really pisses me off, but this and this, right? You see that's just the advert of a back, and that's an advert for another back, right? This, right? You're seeing 2 different comics, and there would have been 2 different comics in there as well, for the same comics, but they had put things on the side, and that really pissed me off as well. And they don't offer refunds and any of that stuff, which is really annoying. These are comics that you get in like newsagents where they don't sell proper comics. This one is about Gambit being a horseman of the apocalypse. Horseman of the apocalypse? That's the thing, right? Okay. And then this one's Wolverine and Deadpool. Confusing, yeah. Spider-Man's on the cover. But Wolverine is in that tiny little corner with Deadpool, and they're all being losh. I bought a load of DC ones because I figured I didn't read enough DC stuff, and so I wanted to read more DC stuff. And I got a pack, you know, that had about 4. Let's see, where are they? There's one. Yeah. Are we seeing a pattern here? Sticking the same comic in 2 different places. And you know what the awful thing is? I bought two packs with about 8 comics. 2 doubles. Not on, guys, not on. The end of this line, as you may say, the free comics from Free Comic Book Day. Can't argue about free comics. They were pretty interesting. Didn't think much of the Nova. Didn't think much of Thor. Didn't think much of Superman, the whiny bitch. But I liked Green Hornet, especially the Kevin Smith written. So yeah, I'm going to have to heavily edit this because it's about 15 minutes. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed hearing me go on and on about my stupid comics.